was wonderful. I see Debbie and see Bill, some other great faces. To be here a couple weeks ago now to witness the launch and American astronauts being launched right here from Florida soil with an American rocket was really, really exciting. It was great for our country. Today's announcement with AAU is very significant. I'm actually going to allow some of the folks here to kind of go through that, and I'll come up, say a few things about why that's important, and then we have some other announcements about additional school and youth activities in the state of Florida. But I would just say that I think this is really, really good for Brevard County, and I look forward to hearing a little bit more of the details. So if you guys want to go on.
Good afternoon. Let me take this opportunity, Governor DeSantis, Commissioner Corcoran, welcome back to our great county, the Space Coast. It's an honor to have you here. I'm pleased to be a part of today's announcement as we demonstrate that the agencies and the individuals that have come together continue to bring the 2020 Junior Olympic Games to Brevard are a testament to our strong partnership that has seen our community through the most challenging of times with our resilience and our collective resolve. Now our community seeks to support youth activities and athletics that benefit our own kids here in Brevard, and with Brevard Public Schools, we've been called on to help provide facilities and support the activities that are planned at the end of July. Certainly the opportunity to host the largest national multi-sport event for our nation's youth is one we could not overlook, not only for the potential economic benefits it presents to our county at this critical time, but because of the uplifting message it brings to our community and our kids. Athletics play a vital role in shaping our youth, whether through school-sponsored sports or recreational programs, and I'm proud to boast of the outstanding commitment of our athletic directors and coaches across our great community who are the heart and soul of our sports programs. Brevard Public Schools has had a long-standing commitment to promoting the benefits of physical fitness and athletics in our schools throughout our students' academic and extracurricular journeys. I saw firsthand the power of athletics in kids' lives while serving as varsity soccer coach in our own public school system 26 years ago, not only for the health and wellness it brings, but for the life lessons that sports can uniquely teach, from teamwork and respect to discipline and camaraderie. Each year, Brevard Public Schools graduates hundreds of athletes, many of whom are in college scholarships and even go on to compete on a national stage. I would suggest the love of sport and healthy competition is framed in our schools from the youngest of ages through our impressive physical education programs, as throughout the school year our PE teachers deliver a robust curriculum of physical fitness designed to promote movement and coordination, skills and training, safety, sportsmanship, and of course personal best. All valuable lessons our kids carry with them for their futures, whether they're the next NFL star quarterback, architect, or CEO. Our commitment to physical education is evidenced in the recent recognition of 2 Brevard Public Schools PE teachers who were named the 2020 Elementary and Secondary PE Teachers of the Year. It's also why we recently mandated electrocardiogram testing for all of our student athletes to help identify those who may be at risk for sudden cardiac death from unknown heart conditions. We are grateful for the work of the AAU, as it is at the forefront of promoting participation in youth sports and athletics in communities like ours and across the country, working to modernize fitness education by emphasizing student health, goal setting, and personal progress, helping, as we say, to raise champions. We're confident the event organizers will take thoughtful and deliberate steps to address health and safety measures for those who will be visiting our venues during the games, and we are happy to support them in the planning and preparation. We look forward to working our continued relationship with the AAU. Now it's my privilege to introduce President of AAU, Mr. Ghani.
A couple of things. First of all, I spent my 6 weeks over here in Cocoa Beach doing my quarantine because I thought I was smart. I left my house in Orlando because they closed everything down. I thought I'd come over here and stay in a buddy of mine's condo. Well, the day I got here, you closed the beaches, and I couldn't go out there unless I was fishing. So I went over to Rusty's house, who lives in Cocoa Beach, borrowed a fishing rod, so I got to sit on the beach and fish in the sun.
Never caught
No, never caught anything. But first and foremost, and this I think is extremely important, I got to tell you, you don't know how blessed and fortunate we are to have a governor like this in this state. He's a leader. He's not only a leader in the state, but he's a visionary leader across the country. I have, I guess, the dubious task as the national president for the Amateur Athletic Union. I have the dubious task of having to deal with all 50 states. And it's all over the place, the rules and regulations. And I found not only is this governor takes a very planned approach, but his approach is always in the best interest of the citizens of the state and the safety of the citizens. I also serve. Yeah. Our headquarters is on Disney property over in Orlando, but we've been around for 130 years. And we've run 41 different sports in 50 states, and we have teams from all over the world come to our events. But I got to tell you, this is my heart is here. Because in 1996, as Giles pointed out, in 1996, when the governor or mayor of Houston was not reelected, the Sports Commission dropped us with about 6 months to go before our Junior Olympic Games, and Brevard County stepped up and ran probably one of the best Junior Olympic Games that we've ever had in the history of the AAU. So let's hear it for Brevard County. On May 15th, we were notified by where we were supposed to have this year's the 54th annual Junior Olympic Games in Virginia. We were notified that we couldn't use any of the facilities. Well, it's hard to run games. It's hard to run sports if you don't have facilities, tracks, gyms, and so forth. So, first call I made was Rusty Buchanan in Brevard County. I said, Rusty, you did it in 6 months. Can you do it in 3 weeks? so Rusty started contacting all you wonderful people, from county commissioners to school boards to superintendents to everybody in town, the sheriff's office, the governor's office, and a beautiful person sitting here in the front row, Miss Angela Suggs from the Florida Sports Foundation, who we've been talking with for over a year about doing some things collaboratively. And he called me back, he goes, I think we can do it. So the reason I'm here today, the reason we're here today, and very proud to be here today, is because of three main people. Your governor, Rusty Buchanan, and Angela Suggs. Thank you very much, all three of you. Now, these games are going to look a little different this year, because when you only got 3 weeks to plan, it's going to be different, but it's going to be different in a good way. You've heard the cliche, if you get a lemon, try to make lemonade. Well, we're making lemonade this year because we are going to work with the Florida Sports Foundation, Elise and Angela Suggs and her people, and we're going to do jointly the AAU Junior Olympic Games and the Florida Sunshine State Games. So we're going to do that together. So let's hear it for Angela. Now, this is one of those things you think, why didn't you think about that before? But sometimes when you get into these situations, things pop up in front of you and just become a reality. But we think this is going to be a great opportunity for a long-term relationship with the Sunshine State Games and the Florida Sports Foundation and the AAU to work collaboratively with communities and counties like Brevard County and governors like Governor DeSantis and people in this wonderful state where our headquarters has been now for 22 years, and I hope it's here for another 122 years. So I guess I want to thank everybody in this room for being so cooperative. I would love to see everybody be involved in these games. It's going to be exciting. They start the fourth week of July, and they go the first week in August. And in addition, I'd be remiss if I didn't beat our own drum that we run a volleyball championship in Orlando every year. It's the world's largest volleyball championship. And again, thanks to the leadership back here of your governor, we are going to be hosting our national championship in Orlando on July 15th this year. So thank you, Florida. Thank you, Brevard County. Thank you, Governor. And at this time, I'd like to do two things. First, I'm going to issue the first gold medal of the 55th annual Junior Olympic Games to Governor DeSantis. Oh, wow. And we'll even give you a hat. So at this point in time, without further ado, and I want to do this, I want to thank Rusty. What a great guy. What a great guy this guy is. He's our first vice president. So they gave me a proclamation, and you notice I don't write notes for a speech, so if I screw up this proclamation, bear with me. Okay, it is. Whereas the Amateur Athletic Union has hosted the AAU Junior Olympic Games since 1967 annually, whereas the Space Coast in Brevard County, Florida, has hosted the AAU events for more than 30 years, whereas the Space Coast in Brevard County, Florida, has a history of successfully hosting the AAU Junior Olympic Games in the summer of 1994, and whereas the AAU and the Space Coast in Brevard County, Florida, have the resources and the ability to provide an unforgettable atmosphere for amateur athletes, coaches, and their families. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Dr. Roger J. Gowdy, by virtue of the authority vested in me, as President and CEO of the Amateur Athletic Union, do hereby proclaim the Space Coast in Brevard County, Florida, as the host of the 54th Annual AAU Junior Olympic Games.
All right, Peter Kranis is now official. Where's Peter? You've got your proclamation that we were trying to work on, so now let's get to work. Let me thank everybody for coming very quickly. I'm not going to stand up here a long time, but let me just say, it would not be possible, we would not be here without a couple of things. One, a vision. And that vision, like Giles said, and like Mark said, you stole my thunder about, I took it from my call yesterday. We got a letter from President Bush when we helped coordinate a torch run years ago, and it said, sports is so important to our children because it teaches them life lessons. Teamwork, sportsmanship, goal setting, fair play. Things that they carry with them in their adult world, whether they're athletes or they're accountants or teachers or preachers. That's important to me. I carry that mission. That lesson is a mission for me for many, many years. 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to do a diplomatic sports mission for our youth state department in Kosovo. In speaking with the Prime Minister of Kosovo, I'm trying to sound intelligent and articulate and tell why sports is important to me, and he stopped me and he said, but you know, sports is bigger than that. Sports can change the world, because if you boil it down to the lowest common denominator, kids want to play and kids want to be with other kids, and their focus is on this competition. So if you take those commonalities that we have at that lowest root, we can change the world generationally through sports. So sports has the power and the ability to change the world. And that's what all of us are gathered here to do today. And first, I got to thank Governor DeSantis, and I spoke to him in the hall, and I mean this with all sincerity. As a Floridian, as a resident of Brevard, his leadership through this entire pandemic, trying to be safe and to be cautious, but yet to be encouraging and optimistic, and look at how we can safely allow our kids to be able to participate. Thank you for that leadership, and that's from the heart. Mark Susan, I don't know where you are, but Mark Susan, he probably snuck out because he's been tasked with so many different things. Mark, we wouldn't be here without you and the leadership that you've provided to the school board and your vision. We got to just put blinders and reins on him, pull him back sometime, but he's a great guy. After this press conference is over, we are going to assemble over the corner our local organizing committee, so you can see some of the outstanding people that are involved with this project. So if you could just raise your hand so the people around can see who's on our list. Mitzi, raise your hand. Let me just point out Olympic bronze medalist Mitzi Kramer. Mitzi back in the back right there. She is coordinating swimming for us. Mitzi is proud. Tom Wasden, I saw Tom over here past member before. We have got an outstanding group of people together. It would not be possible without everybody in this community and all the support from the Board of County Commissioners, from the school board, from the Tourism Development Council, and from my friend. And first I'd like to bring up next our Sheriff, Mr. Wayne Ivey.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I'm certainly honored to be a part of this and to have our agency be a part of it. Obviously, our team will play a big role in coordinating security and the other things that make this event so successful. But we have an opportunity to participate at another level as well. And I was in attendance at the County Commission meeting the other day, and I know we have some of our county commissioners here with us. Kurt Smith is over here. Rita Pritchett, I see Rita in the back. Christina Nardi is over here babysitting Junie. He hasn't left her side, but in attendance at the meeting, they were being asked to support this initiative as well. One of the things that we needed was some funding to help with resurfacing of our track at the school. And so we had an opportunity to provide $30,000 in forfeiture money to help with the resurfacing of that track. And that is, when I say forfeiture money, that is money that was taken from drug dealers and is being put to great use to help our youth and to help our community. So we're proud to be a part of this, and we're certainly proud, Rusty, to have you guys putting this on. This is a great opportunity for us. So I get the honor of bringing our governor back up to the podium, and I will tell you that I have a chance to work with not only him but his staff, and they are incredible. I've watched them through the last number of months steer us very safely through the COVID-19 pandemic. I've had an opportunity to work with him on many, many things, and the first thing I learned about our governor is he is all business. He is about protecting the state. He stands by law enforcement and public safety in just the utmost form. And he is a great man, and I'm not only honored to call a friend, but to be able to call our governor. So please give a big round of applause to Governor Ron DeSantis.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for all your deputies and your department putting themselves in harm's way to keep the community safe. This is exciting to have the AAU Junior Olympic Games. I think it's been since 2000 that Florida's had it in Orlando. So this is the total sixth time we've had it in the last 20 years. We're excited that this opportunity kind of fell into our lap. It's a showcase for the best youth athletes in the country. It's also an event that will come with economic value. It brings the community together and exemplifies the values of commitment, hard work, and leadership. The games bring in approximately $50 million in economic impact to the hosting region usually. And that's something obviously in these times very significant. We will have hundreds of volunteers and you will have record-breaking performances, obviously, with many talented athletes and many dedicated coaches. Some of these folks who coach were Olympic athletes themselves. In 2019, the Junior Games had 12 Olympic athletes in attendance, either helping run the event or coach. That display of accomplished athletes helping the next generation captures the spirit of our youth sports. So I couldn't be happier for Brevard County in the state of Florida. Given this announcement, which is significant, we also thought it would be a good time to provide an update for folks about things beyond just youth sports involving our youth, particularly our schools. As many of you know, probably all of you know, the state of Florida moved to distance learning in mid-March in order to combat or at least help combat the spread of COVID-19. Working with the Department of Education, working with the superintendents, we've been able to provide a roadmap to announce the return of our schools to on-campus instruction and to bring long-term improvements to the instructional continuity using the federal funds provided through the CARES Act to make significant investments in our education system. Achievement gaps are expected to significantly widen across the nation due to COVID-19 related school closures and the shift to distance learning. In Florida, we plan to work together to provide tools and strategies to close the achievement gap, although I will commend the department and many of these superintendents here and school districts. Florida, I think, probably fell behind less than other jurisdictions around the country. I think the distance learning was probably one of the most effective in the country. That said, having a teacher there, there's not going to be a substitute for that in-person instruction. But our plan maximizes the funding we got for the CARES Act. We want to best serve Florida students and educators, and we are going to be implementing the following. $64 million will be provided to close achievement gaps that have likely been exacerbated during the pandemic. We need to give teachers, students, and families the tools that elevate best practices needed to make decisions to set up students for success. These funds will provide a 4 to 5 week summer program on school campuses to students from K through 5 who are identified with a substantial deficiency in reading based on assessment and teacher recommendations. The plan also focuses on an intensive effort to improve student reading proficiency. Our goal is to have 90% of students proficient in reading by 2024, and the investments we make this summer and for the upcoming school year will aid us in reaching that goal. Within our plan, we invest $20 million to engage school districts and schools in identifying and adopting the best reading curriculum and supplemental instructional materials to drive teaching and learning from grades K through 3. Curriculum will be vetted by Just Read Florida. Additionally, we will dedicate $15 million to train and develop 2,000 highly effective reading coaches, develop and deploy strategies for in-classroom support with reading coaches, and develop regional support teams to identify and assist students with reading improvement. The plan includes over $223 million for early learning programs. This includes $55 million to provide financial assistance to child care providers that remained open during the crisis with infrastructure, personnel costs, cleaning supplies, and other costs to maintain a safe learning environment. $16.9 million in funding to high-quality child care providers who agree to reopen as part of Florida schools' reopening plan. $20.9 million in funding for successful transition to kindergarten program to implement summer programs for approximately 45,000 rising kindergarten students identified with limited language and emergent literacy skills. $45 million is set aside as safety net funds to ensure students don't continue to have disruptions in their education. These funds include up to $30 million set aside to protect tax credit scholarships entering the school year, and up to $15 million in financial relief to assist schools that have a majority of public scholarship students to keep those students enrolled so they can continue their education as their parents see fit. This will protect funding for traditional K-12 schools by preventing large increases in enrollments if students were to lose their current scholarships. Through our plan, we also provide $8 million to allow every public school student graduating in the 2020-2021 academic year to take the ACT or SAT free of charge, and $5 million to expand civic literacy in our schools. Workforce training and job programs are also an important part of our K-12 system, and we include these important economic recovery programs in our Florida education plan. $35 million will be provided to increase capacity around short-term, in-demand technical certificate programs, market-driven and in-demand clock-hour career certificate programs, and in-demand industry certificate preparation courses at Florida's 28 state colleges and the state's 48 technical colleges. $10.9 million we provided for career and technical education equipment grants to support K-12 or post-secondary career courses. This plan also includes assistance and recommendations for our education community and local officials to consider as they plan to reopen schools this summer and fall. At the same time, we believe those are locally driven decisions. We believe what that looks like may look different in Brevard than it does in Miami-Dade, than it does in Baker County. And so we want to empower not just the superintendents, but all the local stakeholders to be able to craft a solution that makes the most sense for that area. We also have $2 million for increased telehealth services for students experiencing difficulties during this transitional period. And our Division of Emergency Management will be coordinating with school districts across the state to survey school districts on the need for personal protective equipment and sanitation supplies, and to help provide those through coordinated emergency management operations. So we have a great opportunity to get back on good footing. I know our kids have been in difficult circumstances for the past really couple months now, So as we transition into doing things in the summer, which you're starting to see, games like this are very important, and then getting back on our feet in the school year, I think is going to be really, really important for the well-being of our kids. But I also think it's important for a lot of parents who've had to juggle an awful lot over these last couple months. And so I want to thank our Commissioner of Education, Richard Corcoran, for really working hard, getting a lot of input from the superintendents, and coming up with a really solid plan that I think will make a big difference. So I want to invite Richard Corcoran up to say a few words.
First, we're honored to have with us superintendents from up and down the state. We have Marcus Chambers from Okaloosa County, Sherry Rollerson from Baker County, Mike Thomas from Dixie County, Barbara Jenkins from Orlando, Kurt Browning from Pasco County, Ted Roush from Sewanee, and Mike Gregor from Pinellas. All of these folks, including the other superintendents, couldn't make it. Were just instrumental in us putting together this plan, working together, getting feedback from everybody from expert pediatric epidemiologists from Shands, from All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, looking at all the data, World Health Organization, all of the centers from Asia and Italy and England, and to follow the governor's leadership, as you heard. I think you guys all said it fantastically. No governor has led, in my opinion, better, more wisely, and more efficiently, fact-driven than our governor in the state of Florida. And so we have a safe opening plan. You know, we're going to be smart, we're going to be safe, we're going to take it step by step. We're doing the exact same thing with the schools. The message should be loud and clear. What we are saying, with a strong recommendation to our great superintendents that we work with, we want schools fully open in the fall, because there is no better way to educate our kids than have that great teacher in front of that child. We also know that they are not at a low risk, they are at an extremely low risk, not only of contracting it, but even spreading it. All of that data is in. And so we're saying, let's get what we do know is not having that world-class education with that teacher in front of that child. There is real, significant, long-term harm that you can't recover. And so we're saying open up the schools, let's get the best educational environment, let's keep everybody safe in our educational community, and now attack, like no other state has before, the achievement gap. If we lose students anywhere in this country around third grade, that's basically almost 100% of your dropouts. It's almost 85% of your interactions with the juvenile justice system. And so we have got to get in there, grab hold of these kids and end the achievement gap and get to a 90% literacy rate. No other state will come close to that. And so you heard what the governor said. All of this money is we're going to start all the way in pre-K. We're going to grab hold of these kids. We're going to make sure that we have the greatest reading literacy curriculum, greatest reading literacy professional development for our teachers, strategically learn every aspect of those children and surgically go in there and assure that they become level 3 readers in third grade. And when we do that, it will not only just enrich these children's lives, it'll change our state and it'll change our nation. Everything that flows from that, more kids graduating, more kids getting degrees, more kids getting credentialed, more kids out there in the job force, more kids paying taxes, all of that will change our society. And so hats off to Governor DeSantis. I think going after the achievement gap and the way he is a game changer. I encourage the other 49 states to not only follow his lead on how you handle this crisis, but in attacking the achievement gap. And I want you guys to hear, we have Superintendent Grego, I want you to hear from him, and we also have President Greg Hale from Broward. The credentialing, we literally have over 100 credentials now that we'll be funding through this governor's money that gets in 20 weeks, quick, valuable, high-wage, high-skill credentialing and something they can build on top of that, which gets us all the way back to the governor's one of his early executive orders. We want to be number one in the nation in the number of adults who are degreed and credentialed, and we'll be number one as soon as we get these things going. But I do want you to hear, first, Governor, thank you very much for your leadership. I think this is a fantastic plan, and I would like to call up Superintendent Grego.
Certainly, thank you. Let me add my thanks to Governor DeSantis and Commissioner Corcoran Corcoran for laying out such a comprehensive plan and also including the Florida Association of School Superintendents in the development of that plan. As leaders, as superintendents, and also as school board members throughout the state, we're planning and making decisions that not only will keep students safe and healthy and families engaged in our educational community, we keep all of those things in the forefront. But as the Commissioner mentioned, we also are working feverishly to prevent and to mitigate and to address any academic loss of our students in the state of Florida. This is why I appreciate that the state has not only developed guidance to set consistent conditions for returning, but also they're allowing us to locally decide what's best for our school districts so our school boards and others can stay in touch with our community members. But also one of the greatest things that I'm hearing and you're hearing too is that we're putting the academic achievement at the heart of everything we're doing, which I couldn't be more thankful for. Superintendents and school board members know that schools play this vital role in our community's return to normalcy. We all know that. As we ensure we are working to instill the trust in our return, we also must leverage this time of unprecedented change to innovate our educational systems. I'm excited about the financial support outlined by the CARES Act that will not only allow for the critical health and safety needs, but it also will seek to ensure that districts have flexibility, supplemental supports to implement strategies such as expanded summer hours and expanded after-school hours in the fall, and digital learning and devices initiatives throughout this state. It is time. It is time that we eliminate the digital divide and use this as an opportunity to do so. The classroom interaction, as mentioned by the Commissioner, between the teacher and the students is critical. It's the most important, it's the most powerful interaction that is there. And basically, in the last 9 weeks of the school year, we all kind of learned that lesson, didn't we? That interaction between and that love and care between a teacher and a student is really one of the greatest things that we are yearning to get back to. But through the CARES Act, the plan and the well-thought-out plan, districts will be able to strategically utilize these funds to enhance how we engage, to enhance how we connect and extend and enrich the daily instructional practices in our classroom, and provide equity and access for all of our students, not some, but all. So these next few months certainly will be challenging, without a doubt. But I am assured, as we are standing here today under great leadership, that we will continue to work together. And with that togetherness, we'll be able to solve just about any issue or problem that we're faced. For the nearly 3 million students across this wonderful state, we'll be able to innovate our educational system and positively impact the achievement of our students. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Commissioner, for your leadership.
Next, I'll call up President Greg Hale. Before I do, I also recognize Senator Tom Wright and Representative Randy Fine, who are also great legislative leaders in helping us with all of our educational policy, in addition to Senator Mayfield. So thank you guys for coming. But with that, President Greg Hale.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. And I'm going to come to some gratitude towards the end of my brief comments here. But first, we have President Ritchie here. I want to make sure that we acknowledge him, the president of our local community college here. I do have the pleasure and privilege of serving as the president of Broward College, but probably more important than that is I have the pleasure and privilege of being part of the very best community or state college system in America. We have about 750,000 students that we serve in the state of Florida. And one of the things that I cherish most about that service is who we serve. The students we serve are the ones who are trying to make their lives better and trying to figure out how to do it. Most of that 750,000 students are first-generation college students. Most of them are going to school part-time and trying to navigate having a family and maybe working 2 jobs, if not more, to try to find their way through it. Many of them are single parents, and the only time they can find to do their studies is perhaps between 10 and 2 o'clock in the morning, but they're finding a way to get it done. This is a huge part of why the leaders in the community college system love the work that they do because they get to make a difference in the lives of those who are struggling every inch of every day just to make their lives better. It is the heart of this post-secondary institution, of these institutions, that we extend to all of those in the community. We are open access institutions, so I love hearing the talk about equity and access, particularly at a time when we know COVID-19 and what was happening to a humming economy and what has lately happened. Unfortunately, we will obviously bounce back, but the state colleges play a critical role in that bounce back, and we know that the importance of access is greater now than perhaps it's ever been. The importance of equity is perhaps greater now than it's ever been, and we are beyond excited to play our critical role in supporting you, Governor, and supporting our Commissioner to make sure that we are there to provide the services necessary to ensure everyone gets an equitable opportunity to come back to where we were prior to the challenges we saw that started just a few months ago. The next point is really just one of gratitude. As we made this transition, the state colleges, and to move all of our students online and to find a way to support our students, one of the things that you probably never see or never know is how the Commissioner and the Governor have to do so many things to make our work possible. When we saw that there were challenges in policies that we knew were barriers to students because of this unique climate, we could reach out to the Commissioner, who would work closely with the Governor, who would then issue executive orders, creating opportunities that otherwise did not exist. And for that, and on behalf of the 750,000 plus students who are trying to find a way to make it every day during this critically difficult time, I thank you. And they thank you.
I want to thank everyone who's spoke, both from the AAU and for the K-12, and then President Hale with state colleges. This is exciting to be able to see something like this back in Brevard County. Nice event, and then it's also exciting that we're going to have an opportunity to really attack this achievement gap going forward for our kids, really able to provide some good funding for our school districts, and then obviously the credentialing with our state colleges has been a very big priority for us to begin with. But now when you have an upheaval like this, I think it's all the more important. So we're really, really fortunate to have a lot of great people involved in our education system here in the state of Florida. So I just want to thank them. And I look forward to coming for the games. You know, that gold medal's nice, but I don't know that I would be able to compete in the 100-yard dash anymore, but it's still good. And so we look forward to being back in Brevard County for this and many other good events in the very near future. And I think we'll maybe do something off to the side with some of the folks. But thanks for everyone who turned out today. We really, really appreciate it. Brevard, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a lot of great stuff. One of the most exciting places, I think, anywhere in the country when you look at all the great things that are going on here. So thank you, guys.
You're 9-2? Yep, got it.
Oh.